everyone, it's Jane and welcome back. In this Silhouette Shorts video, I'm concentrating on how to colour an image where you have an outline only. And for simplicity, we're doing this Christmas bauble. It's from CraftBundles and it was a free design, so I shall link to it below. And I'm starting with the SVG file. And that's here, and I know it's number 3, so let me open that. The first thing I'm going to do is click on it to select it and change the fill colour to black. I know from my little practices with this, it has a line thickness of 1, and I usually leave that at 0, so while it's all in one piece still, I'm going to change my line thickness to 0. And I'm also going to make sure it hasn't got a line for the moment. The next step is to go to Object, Release Compound Path, and the whole bauble will go solid black. Then let's just click outside and then grab the little ribbon tail here and slide this across. And you'll see that underneath are all the separate shapes. I know I want to cut out the centres of the bows, so I'm going to select these 2 at the top first, change them to white, and add a red cut line. And then I'm going to group those 2 shapes together. Now I can do my colour, and rather than have you watch me decide whether I like the green and the red and gold that I've chosen, I'm going to choose the ones that I've already done. In Designer and Business Edition you'll have this dropper tool, so you'll be able to do what I'm going to do in a minute. But if you haven't, you use your squares here in your ordinary palette, or you can use the rainbow picker and choose your colours that way, or if you know the hex code you can type it in, and similarly the RGB code. I'm going to quickly select the shapes that I know I want to be certain colours. So I've got the 2 red, and I held down my shift key to select them both together, and I can do red, and then let's do all the gold ones next. Select those, holding the shift key down, get my dropper and pick up the gold colour. And now I'm going to select the colours for the green and choose the green. And then finally the darker gold colour for the top of the bauble. And I didn't do a very good job of getting that, did I? Let's try again. There we go. So now I'm going to select all of the coloured shapes and group them together, and then all the coloured shapes with the 2 white shapes at the top, and group those together. I'm going to get rid of my colours there. Now I'm going to bring back my outline, and you could eyeball this if your eye is good enough, but you can select both of the shapes and use the crosshair to centre them to each other. I'm going to select just the colours and ungroup, and then that leaves my whites still as a group, and I want to select those along with my black outline, so I'm going to hold my shift key down and press the black, and I'm going to open my modify panel and use subtract so that the front white shape cuts a hole in the solid black behind. So now I know that I will be able to have my bow cut out. I can now select that and add my red line for cutting, and Now if I go to my send window and change it to cut, you can see that it is no longer cutting out each individual colour. I've simply got the outline of the whole bauble, which is what I wanted. And that's all there is to it when it's a simple shape like this. It can be a little bit more complicated with other designs, but this is a simple one and the process is very similar. Perhaps we'll do a complicated one in the future. However, if you have a PNG image but not an SVG, can you do the same thing? Let me show you quickly that yes, you actually can. In this baubles pack, you also get the PNG versions. So let's choose the PNG. Now, you can't do the first thing where you changed the colour as before. You've got to go the route of tracing. So let's open our trace window, select trace area and draw around. I always do outline because I like to be able to see, and click trace. And now I can move that original out of the way. Let's select this. Now I can fill it with black, just like we did with the SVG, and it will now behave exactly the same as the SVG. So if I go to Object, Release Compound Path, you can see all the white red lines there for the different sections. But again, if I just pull the solid black away, you can see that I've got all the individual shapes. The only difference is that this time they've all got lines around them because it thinks I want them cutting. So I know I don't, so let's take them off these coloured ones by using this here, the transparent, so I know they won't cut now. But of course I do want these top ones still to cut, so we'll keep those but change them to white as before. And then it's exactly the same process. You change all your colours, put it back together, and you'd have this. So really, it's exactly the same process, except with an SVG, you don't first have to trace the image. So once you've got your bauble coloured and everything, it's time to use it. And I just made a quick card design. So I'm going to copy this and just show you what I did. I'm going to zoom in a little so we can see it at sort of print size and paste in my bauble, and let's resize it, which is what I did, until I've got it about the same size as the one here. I don't know why it matters, but there we go. If you're wanting to cut this and make sure you don't have any white border, then you can start by doing an internal offset of a small amount so that it cuts just inside your black outline. To show you what I mean, let's zoom in around just this so we can see it. And to save myself some time for later, I'm just going to duplicate it and hide that out of the way. So here we've got our bauble, and I want to do an offset. Now that means I don't want the original line around this, so I'm going to take that off. And now I'm going to open my modify panel. No, it's not modify at all. Offset. And choose internal offset. And you might see here I've got a line and I need to lower the internal offset until I start getting my outline. Can you just see it against the black? And it's just a question of how much of the outline you want to lose. 0.010 or 0.015 is usually enough for it to cut inside your printed image, and be sure that you're not going to get an unwanted white border. So once you've done that, click apply. So now I know that I've got my cut line inside. However, on my card you'll remember that I had both a white and a red border. So how did I do that? Again, it's offset, but this time, again, I don't want to cut around the black, so I'm going to take the line off. And this time it's an external offset, and we just have to decide what size. So I think I went first for a 0.6 for the white, and then filled it with white. And if you want to do the cut, leave the cut line on, it might be that you print white onto red and then just cut out the one shape around the red, or you might do cut around the white and then cut around red separately. So I'm going to leave the line on and click apply, and then I'm going to do another offset, and again it's going to be 0.6, and this time it's going to be the red of the matching card. So now I've got what looks like a white sticker on a red background, and then I can use foam squares to raise these up. I can punch a little hole and actually use thread to hang them, and it's just a really quick and simple Christmas design. That's all for today. I shall see you very soon with another video, so until then, take care.